Welcome to the Companion YouTube special. As many of you Companion members will know, we have a Thanksgiving celebration coming up on November 18th, and we haven't properly announced this yet, but there will be two really interesting guests. So maybe we'll announce them now.
Let's do
Rebecca,
it.
yeah, who do we have as special guests for our Thanksgiving celebration?
Super exciting. I think some people that watched our legacy window of opportunity, where we mentioned a Shanksgiving, we do in fact have Stargate's Michael Shanks coming for our Thanksgiving celebration. But we also have Star Trek's John Billingsley. If you don't know that name, he played Dr. Phlox in Star Trek Enterprise, and he actually was a guest actor in Stargate as well. He played Coombs, if anybody remembers. Uh, I forget his first name, but Dr. Coombs. He was one of the sciencey guys.
But
Um,
more importantly, I think he was such a nice person on the call last week when we spoke to him and confirmed. What do you think about
Absolutely.
John? Yeah.
I he's he's such a nice guy. Even from the first time I reached out to him about this special on email, he immediately was just like, "Thank you for this opportunity." And the opportunity he's talking about is not only is he going to come on, but he is sits on the board of the Hollywood Food Coalition. So we've decided we're going to raise money for them to help vulnerable people get access to food, also healthcare, essential services. They do so many things in Los Angeles and Hollywood. They've been around since 1987, and John, it's just very close to his heart. So we're so excited to bring him on board and also try to help raise funds for Hollywood Food Coalition.
Yeah. He's going to be hosting everything from being part of the virtual event live stream
Mhm.
to VIP green room sessions. And we've been talking about an actually like absolutely incredible, if you were a fan of Star Trek, an auction item that
Mhm.
you cannot miss. I am telling you, I have checked in with my super Star Trek friends, and they were like, oh my goodness, I need to start saving money right now because it would be a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Now, last year, we actually raised $1,000 for the Hollywood Food Coalition. So I think with this like new special thing that we'll be offering in the green room sessions, really, really hope we can beat that $1,000, right? So all of you members, please come and please donate money.
Absolutely.
Now, the interview we're about to get into and show you now, it actually isn't an official companion video, although I don't know if all of our members knew that or not, because it feels really, really companion-y, if you know what I mean. Rebecca, can you kind of talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So Three Fries Short, my podcast, which I'm sure most of our members do know, and associate us very closely with the companion. We had the opportunity to bring Amanda Tapping on and kind of continue the conversation that we have had in two parts now of embracing mental health as a fandom. Specifically, in the second part, she talked a lot about DIY and things that she makes around the house, things she enjoys doing that really help with her mental health. So we latched onto that and really wanted to talk more. So we decided, well, let's just have a Three Fry Short episode with her.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. When I was watching it live, I didn't want to bug Rebecca, but it was such a good interview and a conversation. I was very jealous it wasn't a companion interview, an official one. So this is me stealing it right now. No, I'm kidding. But it was that good. And so I think you're all gonna enjoy it. And obviously Rebecca and Christina and Sarah are so gracious for letting us have this video and show it to you all. Because what an interesting conversation. And there was a particular moment, at least for me, that I thought was so great. Sarah asked, when you do arts and crafts, Amanda, and you don't feel like you're in the mood for it, do you continue anyway because it might help you, or do you actually stop? And I found what Amanda was saying so interesting because she said she stops. She doesn't actually continue doing it. And she was explaining how she doesn't want the bad vibes of whatever she's feeling to transfer into what she's making. And oftentimes, I think at that point in the conversation, it was around laundry detergent and
Mhm.
soap and shampoo and those kind of things. And, if you have bad vibes and as you're working it, you don't really want those vibes necessarily in. And she kind of talks about it kind of like in the way when you do cooking or food and you go to a restaurant and say the chef pours their heart and soul into the food, but maybe the waiter or the waitress is having a bad day and something happens or they slam the food on the table, right? And now all of a sudden it affects you eating the food, not having the best time you possibly can. And these things are kind of important. And so I just found that really, really interesting. What about you,
Absolutely.
Rebecca? Yeah, did you have any particular moment that you really loved or stood out for you?
Yeah, that was definitely one, and then there was one kind of closer to the end where Christina really wanted to ask a question, to Amanda about if she, uses crystals. If you're, out there, if anybody doesn't know crystals, there's a whole almost a culture, subculture around crystals and the healing powers of them, the energy of them. I have plenty of friends, including Christina, that like to set their crystals out and charge. And so Amanda actually said that as well. She talked about that she and Liv, her daughter, both they like the crystal thing. They'll set it out in the moon and then they'll put them around the house. And the thing that I found really interesting about that conversation was I personally do not do have no belief in the power of crystals for myself. And Christina and I have had many interesting conversations like this. It was nice to bring Amanda in on it too, which is the idea that it doesn't matter if I believe it or I don't believe it. It's what that person that's using it believes it, whether they believe it or not, and whether they put energy towards it, because it's all kind of channeling your energy and your mental health and your focus into something. So if it's a crystal that works for you or something else, then I welcome it. I'm never going to tell you no.
Mm.
um,
It's quite interesting now that you're, talking about it this way. Like if Christina or Amanda were having a positive power of crystals,
mhm.
before, say, even your interview, and whether you believe in that power or not, but it changed their mood and made their mood being much more bright and positive in your interview and conversation. Maybe that helped actually was the power of crystals and why this interview is so awesome, if you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
No, I totally agree. It's yeah, it's that is the power of things like crystals or where things that you can put your belief or your energy towards for sure. That's what's
Right.
just like the plate of food at the restaurant. It's a very similar everybody gives and takes an energy to each other and it's going to affect you in one way or the other, you know? So,
I think it's cool. That's really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So there's one last thing. Um, Switching gears a little bit, which is I was just looking into our channel analytics and I noticed that 55.4% of you who watch this channel are not subscribers to this YouTube channel at the companion. So if you enjoy what you're about to see with Amanda and Three Fry Short interview, I just have one small favor to ask you, which is to hit that subscribe button to this channel. Um, I also encourage you to hit that subscribe button to the Three Fry Short channel.
We would like that. Yes.
Yes. Because it really will directly affect the quality of the guests, like Amanda, that we can invite onto the Companions YouTube channel, into our virtual events, into our green room VIP events. So thank you so much if you will do that. And I hope you enjoy the podcast Three Fry Short, interviewing Amanda Tapping.
Dr. Jackson gave me the news of a planet far away. And Colonel O'Neill will assemble a team that will try to save the day. Dr. Sam has a master plan and a science attitude. And the Jaffa Teal, he's part of the deal with his trusty go-out. It's just a regular day at Stargate Command, and it might be hard to understand.
Chevron 1 encoded. Chevron 2 encoded. Chevron 3 encoded. Chevron 4 encoded. Oh god, this is gonna happen. Chevron 5 encoded. Chevron 6 encoded. Chevron 7 locked.
You know we had to bust the theme song out for this one, guys. We had
Yes.
to. So
Oh, gets me every it's been a while, it's been a hot minute.
it's been a minute. So welcome everyone to a very special episode of Three Fries Short. I'm your co-fry, Sarah.
I'm your co-fry, Christina.
And I'm your co-fry, Rebecca.
So thank you all, new and old viewers alike, for joining us for this very special guest. I'm not going to make you wait. Like, I'm not going to drag it out. So let's just get to it. You know her as the director of projects such as Anne with an E, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and Supernatural. You also know her as Helen Magnus of Sanctuary, and of course, Samantha Carter from Stargate. And we all know her as the wonderful, beautiful, radiant queen of our heart, Amanda Tapping.
Aww.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Now I gotta shift everybody around again. What had just
Can we
happened?
just
There
talk
we
about
go.
your theme song for a second?
Absolutely. I would love
Of
to.
course.
It's awesome. You said
Right?
it was epic, but I had no idea.
That we
know.
didn't either when we first requested it. We actually have a question that I'll play for you in a little bit of from the creator of that theme song. So
Yeah.
you will get to hear from Aki himself.
Yeah. Like I said, I was expecting like a 30-second, maybe 10-second
Right.
jingle, and it's a whole verse,
It's like-
chorus, bridge
It's the
song.
perfect like hype because even when we're like, okay, we don't. If we're talking about something, we're like, oh, this is gonna be dark or whatever, and then we hear it, we're like, oh, okay, we're good. It's
Okay.
like
Sets the
a little
tone.
pep song. I love it.
So,
I love it.
Thank you so much for being here, Amanda.
Thanks for
We're
having me.
so excited to have you. It's been so nice to be able to talk to you a couple of times with the companion events as well. So I like that we can kind of continue some of that conversation over here. Before we dive into the meat of what we're going to be talking about, it is my job of the trio to give a brief history of our podcast, but please, both of you chime in. We've done this a lot, but we have so many new people that are out there watching and listening to us right now that we thought it would be a good time to reintroduce ourselves. So the three of us all met on TikTok. Interestingly, we all during COVID kind of went over there, discovered the Stargate TikTok family on TikTok. And it was very clear early on that Sarah, who did a lot of commentary videos on TikTok, she was the one that was making all the funny commentary about episodes of our favorite wormhole show. And and then Christina was kind of doing some of that too. I came on later and I just was like, well, I can do the technical things. So we just kind of formed this podcast out of request basically from people. Would you say
Cool.
that's the same
Yeah.
same thing you would say, Sarah?
Yeah, we definitely like to put a modern spin on it. Like, yeah, the show it aired 25 years ago, but we like to see how certain situations fit into like our modern day and society. And I think, art and TV has a very special place in how a lot of things around us in society fit in.
For
So
sure.
that's kind of our view, but we're also like silly goofy a lot of the time.
Right up
Most
my
of the
alley.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great time. We've had some wonderful guests, and now we get to include you in our friends of the pod.
Yay.
So, and I guess before everyone will kind of explain what the main part of this conversation is in a minute, but I kind of just want to knock out this Aki question so that then we can roll right into the DIY stuff. So,
Can I give the housekeeping just really quickly?
yes,
Just, like,
please do, please do.
All right, pulling in my role here. So for all of our new people here, just one of the rules of us is like we are a very welcoming, inclusive podcast group. So one of the things that whenever we do go live or have community space, we are really adamant of making sure we maintain that safety and safe space. So just be mindful in commentary as we're sharing and talking about it that we do have eyes on it. We want to make sure everyone feels safe here. So please act accordingly. Like we're not here to be bad guys, but we also are here to keep it safe. So we're here to have a good time, grow community, and so thankful for all of our new friends and family, but hard and fast line in the sand. This is the warning. This is the it. And yeah, now we can move on.
Yes.
I've
All
done my
right.
part.
You did it.
You did it.
All right, so we're gonna knock a question out that's not DIY making things related first, but it mostly just because I like to brag about my friend and how awesome he is. And he wanted to ask a question. So we're gonna do that. Let's see here.
You're still the one that I run to, one that I belong to, still the one that I want for life.
Hi, I'm Aki Bermise. I'm a musician, and I was wondering if you've ever wanted to play or have played a musical instrument, what that would be, and also what kind of music you like to listen to. Thank you.
Wow, very talented. I play guitar, but badly. But I do love it, and especially lately, I've sort of been picking it up in the evenings and just But I wouldn't play in public. I almost took my guitar to the last Gabbett event because I was going to do a song for everyone, and I chickened out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have loved to hear
I
that.
feel bad about it. I was like, nobody knew I was going to do it. It was going to be a surprise.
It would have been. Oh man.
Yeah, but
Wonderful.
music, I listen to a lot of kind of acoustic folk. Like that's
Oh, I
kind
love
of
that.
my groove, but I can honestly get down with anything depending on my mood.
Mm.
Like really.
Yeah.
I love blues and sometimes classic rock, and I listen to anything.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I should explain something. This is a black eye.
Yeah, there were questions already popping through. So
I'm just finished directing a episode of a series, their finale, and the hours were really long, and I was getting up super early every morning, and of course it's dark now early. So it's 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and I had my arms full of stuff, and I was down the stairs in my house, and I was going to turn on the light switch, and my sweet doggie Riley came up behind me. So I was walking forward while looking back to say hi to Riley, and as I turned, boom, there was the door frame right there, and it looks worse than I do. There's actually 2 indentations from where my glasses hit it. So that's where my glasses hit and I tried to cover it up, and then I was like, whatever.
And the glasses
Got a
are
shiner.
perfect. The glasses came out on top too, not a
I
scratch.
know. And then I was wearing them, and it was like, God, it really hurts. So, anyway, that's the story of the black guy, because I'm tough like that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So to roll into our main conversation here, just to talk about the inspiration for this episode, I think I can do that. I can handle that, Sarah, if you would like me to. Because it really came out of the last 2 Embracing Mental Health events with the companion. Especially the last one when we discovered that Amanda has been enjoying making things as part of the COVID times and the mental health help. So we, the 3 of us, were very interested in that angle of things, like we tend to be. We'll go off on some tangents sometimes. So because Christina and Sarah helped me with all of that podcast, we were so happy to be able to ask Amanda to be here. And that's what we're here to talk about, DIY stuff. So no, we're not selling soap for you. I'm sorry out there if you want to buy a bar of soap. But we're gonna kind of talk to you about maybe some tips and tricks of things you can do at home yourself instead. Sarah, you want to take some questions from here?
Yeah, so me personally, I'm just going to jump right into it. Like, have you ever had trouble, like you have a hobby, like you like making soap or shampoo, but it's like a bad mental health day, and it's like, I don't want to do it, but like I know I'll feel better if I do it. Like I'll feel better if I accomplish something. So like, what's your approach to that? Do you find powering through and like doing the task anyway, or do you take a break? Is it a mixture of both?
I take a break.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like if I can't put some heart and soul into it, then I don't do it. I know that sounds kind of hokey, but I think like I've been making my own stuff for years and years and years and years and years. And I feel like it sounds so hokey, but like when you cook, if you cook with love, the food tastes better. It digests easier. Like when I'm, at a restaurant and the waitress like slams the food down or whatever, usually the waiter, because waitresses are awesome. But it changes how I feel about what I'm eating. and it
Yeah.
changes how I digest it. So I feel like if I'm making these sort of holistic things for myself, I need to be in a good headspace so that they'll do what I want them to do. That makes
Totally.
sense?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
kind of started this thing called Angry Crafts. We can go going off on a tangent.
Oh,
It started with well, you can kind of see like on my table in the background, there's an angry craft in the process. Have you ever heard of those like diamond paintings with the diamond? It's like these little tiny rhinestones that you stick on a canvas that's sticky and it creates a mosaic or a picture. I got one. I'm like, this is going to be fun. And I was like, actually, this is really pissing me off. Like, I hate this. Why? Like, it's not sticking or like,
Right.
I was so frustrated. But then I kind of like made myself have a mental shift of like, no, use this as an exercise in discipline. Make yourself sit down every day and do something productive. And then also, if I'm going to be mad and angry, I'd rather be mad at a stupid craft than people in my life. So that's kind of like different approaches, different strokes. But
Right.
I also, have you ever had a project that you started, whether it's like a soap that you wanted to make, and it just turned out to be a failed hobby where it's like, I'm going to try this, and then you never picked it up ever again? Because I have closets of puzzles that I'm going to do a puzzle. It never happened.
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I have like a craft, like knitting.
Craft graveyard. Yeah.
I tried really, really hard to
Mm.
learn how to knit. And then I bought one of those like knitting, like when Liv was little, I bought those little rings that you could learn to knit with, and the two of us would sit in front of the TV and watch a show and try to knit. And we have like a couple of, kind of pseudo adequate scarves from that.
Oh yeah.
But my mom was an amazing, like she knit beautiful sweaters and like all these. Liv had cute sweaters when she was a kid, and I could never learn how to do it. And it's funny, I was thinking about knitting the other day, and I was like, should I try it again, or am I going to be like,
Have you tried crochet?
No, that seems like even more particular.
It's
That seems
actually way
painful.
easier.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I was I called myself an angry knitter, and I would like knit so tight that I couldn't get the needle like into
Yeah.
the loop because so crochet has been a lot easier for me to learn.
Yeah. It's only one hook. And I mean, I'm left-handed, so I had to watch a bunch of tutorials because I tried to do it right-handed. Since I'm like a lefty in a right-hander world, I've had to do a lot of things like that, but I'm like, this is not, I need a tutorial, like lefty. I need to do it this way.
but it's easier than knitting.
Yeah, I think so. It's
Much
one
easier.
hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of I've been making a blanket since February, and it looks like maybe a scarf at this point. So I don't know if that's a failed hobby at this point, but hey,
Yeah,
right. It's
Yeah.
still, I still have it.
yeah, there's still hope.
Yeah.
Gosh, I felt that comment so much. That's one of our buddies from TikTok, Cajun Geek. Like the getting called out for the failed hobbies thanks to ADHD. That's like where
Yeah.
I'm sitting over in this world. Like I'm like, oh, this sounds wonderful, but like the crafting, the full scope of it is almost impossible for me. But like when we're talking about like when I'm excited to get to is like also like the soaps and all that. Like that's I can do because that's like something I'm going to use,
Yeah,
not like look at. And it's like I find if it's functional, I'm more often gonna do it. But if it's just for like entertainment or outlet, I'm like, nope, toss away. Moving on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm a DIYer from, like I just like to do stuff for myself.
What started
I'm
that?
just so
Like,
confident about how's Amanda with power tools, knowing that she's a little accident prone.
Oh no.
Yes, Sandra, I am a little accident prone, but I love my power tools. I
That
do.
one. There you go.
I love it.
I love doing my own stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What started you doing like your own stuff? Like was there a point that just pivoted and said, no, I'm gonna do it myself?
In terms of like sort of the more, I guess, cosmetic-y things that I make, I just was tired of looking at labels and not understanding what half the ingredients were. And there were things that were super simple. Like when we were kids, we would go camping. That was our summer vacation. So my parents would take 4 kids in a station wagon camping. And we would brush our teeth with baking soda because sometimes my parents would forget to pack the toothpaste.
Yeah.
Baking soda. And I really loved how my teeth felt after brushing with baking soda. So I started to make my own toothpaste when I got older, which is just baking soda and coconut oil and fine salt, like good quality fine salt. And maybe if you want some peppermint essential oil, and I love it. And occasionally I'll use like a fluoride toothpaste once in a while. But honestly, like I live on my baking set. And you make just a little batch and it lasts a couple of weeks and then you make a fresh batch. And it's like simple ingredients that you have in your house. Costs nothing. Easy. Highly recommend it.
That reminds me, I saw like it was like a hack on TikTok of all places, for like teeth whitening, and they use the theory of like color theory, like how purple shampoo was for blonde hair. They
Right.
said make your own toothpaste with baking soda and add purple food dye, and it will
Oh,
like make your teeth look whiter because it cancels out the yellow. Now I don't know how true that is, but I thought it was
I was
very
gonna try that
interesting.
first.
yeah.
I
You
thought it was
try it,
very
Laura,
interesting.
and let us all know how it works.
Okay, I'll report back,
Yeah, thank you.
but it's
I
in the
already
same
have
vein.
blue-green hair at this point.
Right,
I don't need
exactly.
don't need more, like, purple teeth with that would be pretty wild.
In the same vein of DIY, just a little
Yeah.
Nice.
extra to it.
We'll have to give it a try, for
Yeah, now I'm
sure.
like curious. Like I'm like, because I've seen those same videos come through, and like it makes sense. Like it does
Yeah,
make sense, but
they're
like
using like
how
science and
much or
color
how
theory.
little?
Right.
Like I feel like I would just put way too much in, and we're gonna go overboard there.
Yeah.
It's so like there's so much of the stuff that I make is online in some form or another.
Mhm.
Um, and now way more accessible with Instagram and also you
Yeah.
can like the toothpaste is super easy. You want to know what else I make?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
uh, this is one that has still eluded me a little bit, but I'm trying to make my own laundry detergent, which is really just like borax and washing soda and baking soda. And you can take a bar of like Castile soap and
Mm-hmm.
grate it and boil in water and shaky shake. And then I have like I've probably had this same laundry detergent container, plastic
Yeah.
container for about 3 or 4 years now, and I just keep refilling it. But
Huh.
lately, something's gone wrong, and I don't know
Oh
what it is,
no.
but it's
Oh
all
no.
clumpy clumps of bake anyway, I'm working on the laundry, but there's clumps of baking soda and yeah.
It's a
Well,
It's
and
science.
you
so
also
I obviously
do,
it is a science, it's chemistry.
Yeah.
because you gave me a little dishwasher detergent or dishwasher pod ingredient. I feel like when we were behind the scenes,
Yeah.
what
I
was
just
that one?
that's super
Dawn.
easy. It's baking
Mm-hmm.
soda
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of drops of dish soap.
Yeah.
Just a couple of
That's-
drops. And it's as good in your dishwasher as any pod.
What I'm
But I
hearing is that baking soda is at the root of a lot of the things that
baking
we
soda is a lot of what I love.
Yeah. I hate those pods too. Like I have a gripe with those because I use the laundry pods and
Yeah.
they never dissolved all the way.
Right.
And it would look like a big nasty like snot stain on my shirt. It would dry and like the
Mm.
pod, it was so I'm like, I'm done with these. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm anti-pod over here.
Pod. Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, like I found that it worked just as well. I mean,
Yeah.
and you still need to use that rinsing agent. I don't know. You
Mhm.
probably put vinegar in.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. What else do I make?
Shampoo, right?
That's another fail on my part. The
Ooh.
shampoo.
Oh.
So now what I buy is like a shampoo bar and a conditioner bar. So you don't have
Okay.
all the waste of shampoo bottles and
Yeah.
conditioner bottles. And it's just a solid bar.
I use a bar. I use the
Yeah.
shampoo bar too. I love it.
Yeah. And you just have to find what works for you.
Might be a little easier for us short-haired folks, but
I was gonna say, I don't think
Yeah. Yeah. And then I just like sometimes I will buy like a hair mask just
Yeah.
Mm.
dry, especially in the winter here. But yeah, I just find the shampoo and conditioning bars are great. Just
Any
find
I have
particular
never heard of those.
yeah,
Lush
I'm
has
just
them. I
like,
know Lush.
Lush has them.
Mhm.
Free People carries a brand, and then there's a bunch. There's a bunch. Like just look up shampoo
Cool.
bar.
unlocking
Mhm.
a whole new world for me.
I
I
know.
can't believe
Yeah.
I did not know this.
I like them a lot.
It's
I
and it's
mean,
great, and there's no waste. There's
Yep.
like literally you're not
Mhm.
throwing a plastic bottle away or recycling a plastic bottle every month or however long it lasts.
Mm.
I do facial oil, so I just I like oil cleansing. I like using coconut oil to cleanse my teeth sometimes in the shower.
Oh yeah.
And I use oil cleansing on my face, and I use the combination of squalane oil, and I use a couple of drops of this cold pressed
Mhm.
coochie oil, but you have to be super careful with it because it can burn your skin if you use too much.
ooh.
Oh.
I know I feel like I shouldn't have even recommended that, but squalane oil. But again, it works for me. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
work for other people because everyone's
Maybe
skin
like
is
spot test a little spot before we
totally.
go
And
rogue.
squalane oil is really simple. Like it's got a lot of hydrating factors. It penetrates your skin really easily. So, and it doesn't hurt you. It's what you add to it that might, that you have to be careful about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do I do? Oh, I make a now I'm feeling
I love
super
this.
sneaky weird. I make a hair tonic sometimes that I wrote it down. I use rosemary, cloves, and fenugreek seeds in water. I boil water. So first of all, I take the fenugreek and the cloves and I put them on the stove for a couple of minutes. Just
Huh.
oils. Put them in a mason jar with some sprigs of rosemary, boiling water over top, store it for like 24 hours, strain it, put it in a spray bottle. And it's great for like hydration and even hair growth and shine.
Right.
I use that.
Do you have like, is there a specific site that you reference or a blog you follow, or you just kind of go, oh, I want to know more about
I want to know how to
this
make
tonic?
it. Yeah,
And
I
you just search it.
follow Simple Pure Beauty. I got a lot of recipes off there, like probably 10 years or so ago. And I think it's a woman named Mindy. She's still around. I follow a site called The Spruce, where I get some house, like that's where I got the laundry detergent, I think, from The Spruce.
I'm saving these places right now.
But
Notes are
it's
being
like
taken.
online DIY house products. Like I make a counter spray and I just use vinegar put in a mason jar. I slice oranges or lemons, whatever. And I pour vinegar, seal it up, put it in my cupboard for like a month, and then strain it. And you have this vinegar to clean your counter, but it smells really nice.
Nice.
Oh,
The last time I made it, I don't know what happened, but
oh no. What happened?
well, I strained it into the sink.
Oh,
I had the strainer and I was like, oh, it smells so good. It's going to be great. And then I strained it and went,
Oh no.
and put a container underneath.
I bet
Oh,
I
no.
bet your drain smelled really good though.
The drain smelled so good. So good.
A drain cleanse.
Right.
Oh, fantastic. Do you do lotions at all? Because I know you talked about for your face creams, but like as far as
I
body
used to
lotions.
make a magnesium cream.
Oh.
And I use like shea butter. You can buy shea butter
Yeah.
flakes. And I used to make a magnesium cream, and now I just make a magnesium spray, which is just magnesium flakes and distilled water, boiled.
And just to spray.
And you spray it. You can spray it on your skin after you get out of the shower. Spray it on your feet at night. It'll help you sleep. You can spray it and use a little lavender in there for if you're using it at night. Just going to my little notes here.
I love it.
Yeah, the magnesium spray. So, but at night it's great, and it's good for sleep, stress, mental health, hormone balancing, and it helps fuel energy production if you
I
use
need
it.
that then.
And
for
it's super
sure.
easy. It's like magnesium flakes and distilled water.
Perfect.
So that's the magnesium is the key there. Like that's the benefits of
Magnesium's great, especially for women. But magnesium is great. It's a great for relaxing. And I also supplement with magnesium.
I've heard good things about magnesium as somebody that has PCOS. That's one that gets tossed around a lot for the hormone issues and everything that come with that. So
I just remembered it because I had my daughter via C-section, and before that, because I was kind of in a bad state, I was put on that magnesium drip, but I never really asked why or thought about why. Yeah, it was because I was preeclamptic, and so they that was one of the things.
Everything, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, maybe that's why. But I'm like, just kind of had packed that memory away. But I'm like, that would make sense when you said magnesium. I was like, that balances that.
Holly is making a very important comment in the comments about magnesium. Don't do this.
Oh, that's like for colonoscopy prep, right? Avoid that unless you're told to.
Yeah, don't be really super.
Make sure it's not mag citrate. Make sure it's magnesium. It's a good disclaimer to have.
Thank you. Yes, very true.
that's fantastic.
Now I'm making like flu season stuff.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you because I should have strained it yesterday, but I thought I would show you. This is fire cider. So you can find recipes for this online anywhere. I make it every year. It's got, and mine is full of stuff: garlic, ginger, onion, jalapeno, peppercorns, rosemary, lemon orange, cinnamon stick. I have horseradish. I have star anise in here, and then chop it all up, put it in this, and then fill with apple cider vinegar. I put the lid on it, and it's been in my cupboard for a month, and I just turn it every day. Just give it a little.
And what do you do with it?
Well, then you strain it, and I once drank just like a shot of it once, and I'll never do that again. If you have boiling water, you can use like a little shot of it in boiling water with some honey. And it's just a really good antioxidant. It's good anti-inflammatory. There's so many things in here that are good for you, but what I find it does is it sort of helps me fight off the flu or cold.
Yeah, that
I
makes
was gonna
sense.
say,
Boost. So every morning, I also make ice cubes that have like lemon and ginger. Like I'll grind up ginger and lemon and strain it and put it in ice cube trays, and then I just put that in, like pop one into a cup of boiling water. Um, with honey, honey's always great. Bone broth is great. I make a lot of stuff.
I
know,
love
I
this.
love it.
I'm over here just like, I hope someone else is taking some notes,
Yeah.
but I'm just like,
I do
Okay, so-
preserved lemons, which are great in cooking, but I just take like a mason jar, chop up a bunch of lemons, salt, you grind the lemons down so that the juice comes up, and you use a lot of salt, and it preserves lemons, and you use it in cooking. A lot of African dishes use lemons this way.
That's
And I make Riley dog treats.
Oh, okay. How do you make those?
Okay, the one that she's right there. The one that she loves the most is really simple. It's like 4 ingredients. It's peanut butter, flour, rolled oats, and baking powder, and hot water. Sorry, 5 ingredients. The flour I use for her is almond flour, but you can use whole wheat flour. And the rolled oats I grind a little bit so they're not too. And it's super, super simple. And you melt the peanut butter in the hot water, and you mix all the ingredients, roll it out, make little shapes, bake.
that's so cute. I love it.
And I do one with oatmeal and like a stock, like beef stock or chicken stock. So it tastes like a little beef treat.
Did you ever use pumpkin? I heard pumpkin was really good for
Pumpkin's
dogs.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put carrot in her meal with some salmon oil. I put it on her kibble. But yeah.
I love that. So,
because I was like, I'm making all this stuff for myself. What about Miss Riley?
Yeah,
aw.
of course.
Now back to that jar that you were holding up. You said do you keep it in a cupboard? You don't have to refrigerate it?
No.
You just
When you're fermenting it, you don't. You keep it
Cool.
in a dark place and just turn it. And I have 2 jars going right now, but once I strain it, then I'll put it in the fridge.
Cool. Okay. Now because when you were listing off the ingredients, I was like, I can feel my sinuses opening up, like garlic, onions, jalapeno, ginger. I'm like, wow, I can feel it through the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
What can I ask? What happened when you took that one shot? Did you like see the face of Jesus or something?
Yeah.
Like what?
I thought I was gonna die. First of all, I did everything wrong. I did it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach.
Oh God, yeah.
Dumb. But I had heard that was the way to do it. Like, and it just will infuse your immune system. But you remember that character Ralphie Wiggum from The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I just ate the purple berries. It tastes like burning. That's what I thought. It tastes like burning. It was awful.
And then when he says, "I'm in danger," was that also you?
I'm in danger.
Yeah.
Call for help. Yeah. So now I just am a little more cautious with it.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
just
powerful.
water. And the honey really helps. Honey,
Yeah.
raw honey. And if you can get local honey,
Yeah.
like locally sourced honey. So I have this honey from East Vancouver, of all places, but there's somebody who kept hives there, and so I have East Van honey. So it's this, it's nice and local.
Very cool.
Yeah, and there's a woman down the street who keeps bees, so I sometimes buy little jars of honey from her.
Well, that's
Oh, I love
perfect.
that.
They say as
Yeah.
close as you can get to
Close
where
as
you
you can
live.
get.
It's supposed to help with allergies, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
all the pollen and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think this is an important question to pop up at this point, Amanda. Do you have a time dilation bubble to manage to do all this stuff?
No, see, I only do it when I'm not working or on weekends. So yeah, And I feel a great sense of accomplishment when I do get it done, if I'm into it. Um, like, I used to make all of Liv's baby food.
Oh,
Every
cool.
weekend, I would, like, make her baby when she started eating solids, and it was a great sense of accomplishment, and all I would do is steam vegetables and grind them up and put them in ice cube trays and put them in seal them into baggies, and then I would take them to work with me with her little dish, and she'd have, like and I knew exactly what was in it, 1 ingredient.
Yeah.
So, there's a sense of accomplishment with it, but also, yeah, you carve out the time.
Yeah.
And poor Riley just ran out of dog treats, and I meant to make some the other day, and I was
Oh
too busy.
no.
So she's like, "Really?" Huh, that's okay.
Oh, that's the problem, right? My dogs will start getting used to that, and then I'll
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah,
do it all
totally.
the time. Don't listen, guys. You didn't hear any of that at all. Just fine. My dog's over there just
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mom,
nope,
seems easy.
nope, nope.
What else have I got for you that I've made? Yeah, the laundry detergent I'm still noodling with. Oh, okay, so here's a simple treat. I feel like little Martha Stewart-y.
Oh.
I make this for my neighbors. Because my next door neighbors especially, we help each other out a lot, and, they're called date my girlfriend named them date babies. So and it's delicious and easy. Take a date, slice it, but not in half. Open it up, pull out the pit, freeze it. So a bunch of them, obviously, you don't do one at a
Mhm.
time. Take it out, put a little scoop of ice cream in, like a little spoonful of ice cream. You're trying to seal it up back up again, stick them in the freezer. Once that's frozen, pull it out, drizzle peanut butter on it, stick
Mm.
Ooh.
it back in the freezer, melt chocolate. I use semi-sweet, and then you dip them in and put them back in the freezer. You're welcome.
Wow.
So good. It tastes like a Snicker bar,
Oh
Ooh.
my god.
only
Oh.
better.
But you know exactly what's in it. You don't know what M&M Mars
You
is
know
putting in those
exactly what it is,
Snickers.
4 ingredients.
Yeah.
Date, ice cream, peanut butter, chocolate. Boom. And
Oh,
my
that
neighbor's
sounds
like,
delicious.
my neighbor helped me out the other day, and I was like, "You got some date babies coming your way,"
Oh
and I
my god.
sliced it up, and I was like,
Oh, I love it.
"Yeah,
That's
So
super easy."
fantastic.
What's
what
that?
what got you into we kinda, like, talked about this on the Embracing Mental Health, event, but what got you into doing like, you mentioned that you made your daughter's baby food, and that was way before COVID, but, like, what got
Oh,
you
yeah.
into all
This
of
was like
this
18 years
yeah,
ago.
what got you into making your own soap and
I don't
detergent?
know. I think I've always been a hippie at heart, and I have this kind of dream of homesteading somewhere, or I
Mm,
did. So I was just always looking up homesteading recipes, and
yeah,
Mhm.
always, like, trying to find the simplest way to make something. And there's just again, for me, it's like a sense of accomplishment if I can make something myself. So I love
yeah,
to cook, I love to do this kind of thing, and I just yeah, I know what's in it, and I love making it. I don't know what got me into it
I love
necessarily.
that.
Maybe that like that hippie love child who spent like a summer in Toronto when she was 16 walking around barefoot. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what you know what I mean?
It was
Yeah.
always there in your heart.
It was
It
always
was
there.
always
It
there.
was always a hippie. My
Yeah.
brothers used to make fun of me because my dad moved to California and we were in Santa Cruz, which had at the time
Mhm.
like a lot of hippies. And I ended up, they went into a store and I ended up on the corner with all these hippies sitting around. They gave me a banana. I'm eating a banana. We're singing Dear Prudence. I mean, it was like,
A
you know, and
joy.
They're
this is
still there. I'm not far
they're
from there.
still there.
The
Yeah.
hippies are still there.
So this is like late 80s maybe or mid 80s, but still. And my brother
Yeah.
and my dad came out and went, of course, this is 25 yeah, Prudence. Hi, how are you? Eating my banana. Yeah. So I think I've always been a hippie at heart.
I
Yeah.
love it. I
So
love
you've
it.
mentioned soaps and, like, cosmetic stuff you make. You have your kind of, um, I don't know what to call it's not a tea, but
A
the
hair
the
tonic.
the juice that made you see
Oh,
the face of Jesus, that stuff. You eat yeah. So, like
firecracker.
yeah, so, like, food kinda stuff. Are there any, like, at-home DIY projects, like HGTV type of things that you
Oh
do
yeah.
around the house?
Yeah. So
Yeah?
it's not good when Amanda doesn't work enough. So Olivia would come home like from high school and go, like see something boiling on the stove and go, what have you made today? But then I started like I wallpapered my bathroom,
Oh
this
yeah.
beautiful William Morris bright wallpaper, and then I wallpapered the powder room, and I didn't like it, so I stripped it and wallpapered again. And I paint. I started painting furniture when I wasn't working, and then I painted. This is really embarrassing, but Liv thought this was hilarious. I painted my KitchenAid mixer because it didn't match my kitchen.
How did did
Perfect.
that require any
Perfect.
special
Perfect.
paint?
It was red. I'd had it for years. I wasn't about to buy a new one, but I painted it white. So sanded it, took all the hardware off of it, taped up the bits I couldn't get off, and little thin layers of spray paint. It took me like
Spray paint.
a week,
Wow.
and then sealed it. And now I have a white KitchenAid mixer.
And KitchenAids last forever too. So
do.
like, you know, that'll be for life.
Do.
That's why you
Yeah.
you don't want to have to buy a new one. Like,
Yeah.
It just seems wasteful. So I just painted it. Even though
Custom.
it doesn't, here's the stupid thing, my ladies. It doesn't even sit on my kitchen counter. It's in a closet. It's in like a
But when it's out, it has to match.
but when it's out, looks so good.
Custom KitchenAids by
I
Amanda.
love this so much. I love it.
there's a cottage industry there. You just got to get in on it, and you'll be
Oh.
great.
That's fantastic.
Oh man. But yeah, so I've just been doing that kind of thing. I wonder if I can show you a picture of my wallpaper
please.
effort.
So the wallpaper was a question that happened in an advertisement on our Instagram. Somebody was asking, like, we just want to know what wallpaper you settled on.
So
Oh wow.
Boom, there you go.
kind of hard to tell, but it's this William
It's
Morris
beautiful.
design. It is. I really like it. And then I did this kind of art deco in the powder room, which has mermaids. So art deco mermaids. I was like,
Oh,
of course I'm going to use that. I just have to find it for you because it was
cool.
cool and weird. And then I don't know if this is going to look good or not, but
Oh, I want to see.
can't really tell. But it's
Oh.
little mermaids.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can see. I love the Art
Wow.
Deco.
So
I
that's
love
what Amanda does in her spare time.
I love that wallpaper has made a comeback. I just have to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I like bold wallpaper in small spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
really
great.
So those are the only 2 rooms I'm wallpapering. I'm done. That's it.
Bonnie, my mom was
That's
all
for now.
about, like, you had the one accent wall with wallpaper, like a really bold wallpaper, and then you would do it. Like, my mom's whole house is that. It's the one big wallpaper wall and then 3 painted walls, That
Yeah.
was her thing. That was her compromise.
The
Yep.
accent wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
That
good
must
old
have-
accent wall.
That must have been a Southern thing because my mom's also from same area, and yeah, growing up, it was always the one big wild wall, and you're like, oh, and like the couch had to be in front of it. It had to be the backdrop for
Mhm,
everything, and any picture had to be in front of that wall.
Mhm.
Nowhere else in the house. She would panic if any other part of the room was shown. It had to be that wall, and that was it.
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
The Southern ladies,
Yeah.
It's a cool way to fill space with art though without having to like buy all these individual pieces.
Yeah.
The wall is the art. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And it's just
Love it.
like my bathroom before was gray. Like the
Mhm.
paint that was here when I bought the house and
Mhm.
made me sad.
Yeah.
Every morning I'd get out of the shower and go, and now you're like, ah,
Yeah.
really, but it sparks joy. My wallpaper sparked some joy. And I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Are there other things that you do? So, like on that space of like, because I kind of had a question around just like energy, like how things make you feel. Like, so to that point, like you're just like, great wall, like it doesn't feel great. Are there other things that you're conscious of in your home to help like make sure the energy feels right? Like, is that something that's really important to you?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about that because, like, whether it's like crystals for people or like feng shui
Yeah.
or like alignment or lighting, I would love to know about that in your space.
Okay. So I'm just, what the heck? I'm a hippie.
Go
I'm
for
into crystals. So
Love this.
I have a lot of very special crystals that have been given to me over the years
Mhm.
and Liv too. And so on the night of a full moon, we will
She's
bathe our
charging.
crystals and set our intentions for the
Mhm.
month
I love
and
this.
leave them out on our little deck where the moon will cross over, and so they'll be bathed in the full moonlight. And then
I
we
love
bring
this.
them in and rinse them and put them around the house and
Now, do
set
you
them
have
right.
a
Cool.
And whether
so
it works or not, I don't know. I think there's the placebo effect is strong in our house, so I just feel like, yeah, why not?
I think that's 100% true. I've never been into a lot of the hippie crystal stuff or whatever, but I have friends who are, and I swear I will never tell them no,
Mhm.
because if they're putting their energy and their thoughts into that to help them with stuff, then who am I to say anything at that point? You know, like
Yeah.
it's doing something for you
Yeah.
Mhm.
regardless. So
Yeah.
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 There's some energy there. Like there's energy
Hmm.
in things. Like in everything there's
I
energy.
mean, and there truly is, and that reminds me because I never believed it fully, and I always had curiosity. And then last fall, I went to Sedona with my mom, and it was like,
Ah,
we're gonna go. And my mom is not so hippie, but like I think undercurrent probably is. And we go and we're like going on a walk, and like where one of the vortexes are, and like we leave it, and she's like, "Wow, I am so rested, but we just walked for 3 hours. Like I feel like on another plane." I'm like, "That's cool." So then we went crystal shopping, and it was so interesting because we were like touching things and like that time of the energy. And sorry, this is super hippie, and y'all can judge me. I don't really care at this
I
point.
just said I'm not going to judge you.
I know to everyone else listening,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't care. It's
Just be
fine.
nice to everybody else.
Just be nice. But I swear I would pick them. I don't know if you do this. Like I would like pick it up. If it doesn't feel right or felt like bad energy, I'm
yeah.
like, no. But there was one that was like in a bottom shelf, like in a bottom of a thing, and it was like calling to me. And I was like, Mom, I had to go get back that one. And she's like, what one? I was like, just I'll be right back. And I picked it up, and it is like I couldn't put it back down. It's like it's now at home with me always. And like it's like I say good morning to it. Like I like do the same ritual with it. And it was interesting. It was my first time where I was like, placebo effect or not, it's really pretty and it
There's
helps
something to be said
me.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like, but that intention with it, and it's at least something to like put that cleansing on. Whether, like I said, like it's probably just me doing the mental cycle to your point, but like also why not? Like there is energy in things we don't know. It's above
Yep.
our understanding, but I think
Yep.
that's fantastic.
That's how
That's
I feel
awesome.
about tarot cards too. Like whether or not you believe in
Oh,
them,
interesting.
one, I think they're beautiful art. Like you can buy all these
The art
different
on
decks. They're
yeah.
so beautiful. But then it's also for me, it's like about self-reflection and like analyzing whatever I'm thinking about and going through it and where can I find meaning in something and help me work through it. So regardless of how much belief you put into it, if it helps you, it helps you. And
Hmm.
that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Whatever brings you joy or peace or comfort, there's nothing
Yeah,
you can't say anything's wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. Yeah.
No.
Have you ever just walked into a space? Like, and this is another question. Think about that. Like, what do you do when you walk into a space and you just know it's off, but don't really know why? Does that happen to you? And you're just like,
Oh yeah. I remember like this we're going back decades when Alan
yeah.
and I were looking at our first apartment together.
Mhm.
And there was one at the top of this house, and we walked up the stairs and opened the door, and I went in and I went, "Nope." I turned around and
Mm,
I started down the stairs, and Alan said, "What is it?" And I said, "Something is not no, we're not living there."
I've seen this in a horror movie before and
Yes,
yeah.
those people
exactly.
stayed and that did not turn out well.
Yeah, and I was like, "No, it's not happening." No.
That's interesting. But I
Yeah,
love
it's
that.
just like bad mojo, and we shoot in a place, we film in a place called Riverdale, Riverview,
Mhm.
sorry, Riverdale.
Riverdale.
Riverview, which is an old abandoned psychiatric hospital that a lot of
Oh,
Mm,
yeah.
people film in. Parts of it
mm,
are still active, but one of the main buildings that we shoot in is called the Crease Clinic, and it's because Dr. Crease did a lot of work with electroshock therapy in this building, and it's a huge
Ooh.
oh,
building. And there are places in that building that just don't feel right. They just, "Riley,
is that Riley?
no." She's like, pay attention. Who are you talking to?"
She's making you more
She's so
treats.
cute.
She
Yeah,
wants you to
where are my treats, lady? You're
yeah.
talking, I'm
You're talking about making them.
talking.
It's so cute. It's the sweetest little mom, mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so that where you're shooting, so has that impacted you? Do you have a hard time if you're in spaces that feel that kind of bad or negative energy, like, and you have to
I
be in
do.
it? Is that
Yeah.
how do you deal with that when you have to leave that space? Like, how
I
do you
have
get rid of
to
that?
I have to protect myself going into those spaces, like sort
Mhm,
of cover my solar
mhm,
plexus and
mhm.
I have to yeah, I just because I feel and I'm not like an empath. I'm not saying that I pick up on, you
Mhm.
know, people who have passed, but I feel like I am the type of person that if I see somebody suffering, or it really hits me. And so when
Mhm.
I go into places where I feel like there's been suffering, or you feel this negative energy,
Mhm.
I just, yeah. And because my eldest brother spent time in a psychiatric hospital,
Mm,
it's a big trigger for me.
yeah.
And
Mm.
so I have to be super careful when I go into those places to just focus on the
Mm.
work, not think about, where I am necessarily. Just not
Mhm.
a great way to live life, but it's only there. It's the
Yeah.
only place where I feel really triggered. So I
Yeah.
just have to be aware of it. I have to walk into the space going, I know that this is a space that can upset me. So I just
Yeah.
Mm.
I
deep
mean,
breath.
that's yeah, whatever walls you gotta throw up to get through
Yeah.
something like that too.
Yeah.
I did that a ton in EMS too, just like, "Okay, let me put myself in this, like, metal box and
Of
walk
course you
into this
have to.
situation." So, yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
it's
Rebecca. Of course you do.
it's interesting and it's hard because then you're like, "I wanna process, what I'm feeling," but I also you have to do the job in the space,
Mhm.
and then, hopefully you take time for yourself. We're going back into the mental health talk, but hopefully you take time for yourself afterwards
Yeah.
to,
Mhm.
think about it. So
Do you have, like, when you're working, do you have other counselors to talk to you guys? Because you
mhm.
must see some pretty awful things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have a peer support group and then there's also counselors.
Okay,
So anytime something bad happens and everybody knows about it, they will activate that peer support group no matter what and people will get checked in on whether they ask for it
right.
or not. And then as it progresses then they can determine like do they need to talk to somebody else or like go further with it and things like that. So yeah, there are systems in place for sure. For sure.
Great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like, I
fantastic.
even when I see a fender bender, I get upset. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
those poor people, on a Friday."
Oh,
Mhm.
Ooh.
it's
Uh,
weird though, because when you could do box it up,
Mhm.
you kind of don't think about it the same way, and all of a sudden, I'll find myself starting to tell a story to people who I'm like, "Oh, I need to not be telling you this story," like, because I just don't think about it that same way. It's really weird,
or suddenly
but
you're
Mhm.
crying for no reason.
yep,
Mhm.
Yeah.
done that, yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which, and again, it's important to acknowledge. Well, hi.
She just wants all the attentions.
Mom. Yeah, I saw a woman the other day that reminded me of my mom. What
Mm,
I
Oh.
imagine my mom would be like now or
Mhm.
a couple years
Mm.
from now. She had the same coat that my mom had, this little
Mm.
puffy coat, and she was walking across the street with a walker, and I was just like in my car just going, "Oh, God, that if my mom were still alive, that might be her," and, you know,
Oh.
all these little moments, right? These
Yeah.
little moments
mhm,
Mhm.
throughout the day that we deflect. We spend a lot of time in our day deflecting. Right, I don't want to
Yeah.
boom, 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 I
yep,
don't have the energy or the time to deal with this, and I've gotta get from point A to point B and whatever
Mhm.
I've gotta do.
Yeah.
So, but then I think it's really important at the end of the day, or whenever you have the chance to just sort of reflect on it and then let it go with a sense of peace rather than
Mhm.
betting, like I've talked about before, where I feel like Riley, what was saying? Um, like, I feel like, we, especially as women, and I'm not saying men don't do this as well, but I think for women, I can speak from that experience. We let things embed in our flesh.
Mhm.
mhm,
Let
Yeah.
things
You
and we
do.
talked about this in the mental health podcast, but the shitty things that people have said and
Mhm.
or things that have happened, and we let it embed, and then we end up walking around super heavy.
mhm,
Mhm.
Like I feel like I'm so heavy sometimes, and I've started now in the last few years to like pull the pieces of shrapnel out, take a look at them, and go, "Yeah, I don't need you anymore. Like you're not."
Mm. That's
I love
fantastic.
that.
And so I think that's important too, that we sort of go, "Oh man, that's why my neck is so because of this shitty thing that happened."
Mhm.
That,
Yeah.
uh, and again, I think not to sort of take it away from the holistic DIY stuff, but all of that helps me,
mm,
Mhm.
making the fireside or making it like doing things that I think are good for me
Mhm.
Yeah.
is all part of taking care of our mental health as well
Yeah.
as our
Well, I was just gonna ask, like, it sounds like that's just like a way of grounding yourself, making sure when you are back in your space, you are grounded and you have
100%.
a safe space. And I think that's where I hope people listening kind of get that idea of like, if you don't feel like you have your safe space in your home or in your place, like what are things you could do to start? How are ways? Because like we do encounter these things where we do have to put up these shields around ourselves but we have to take care of ourselves too, and that can be hard. But whether it is the DIY or if it's scents and aromas and making sure you have the right candles and like
just about to say
smell.
that, Christina. I was
Yeah.
just about to talk about candles because
Oh,
candles.
go. Yes.
And
Candles?
I make my own as well. And I just buy essential oils but sometimes I will buy a candle because it just smells so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Burning candles, especially in my kitchen, and I just walking and smelling something. Like sometimes you walk into a store and you smell something, or I'll boil things on the stove like lemon, rosemary, and whatever on my stovetop if I'm in the house all day, just 'cause it smells great. And I think that kind of thing too is like it's all part of it. Absolutely.
Do you have a go-to scent that, like, if you're in a high state of like knowing you need to kind of come down or level set, is there a scent or an aroma you default to?
I default to citruses a lot. Yeah. I default to sort of a citrus and floral is what brings me joy. Like I have this great lemon basil mix that I do that's really yummy in the kitchen, and more floral in the bedroom. But yeah,
I love it.
I'm
That's
not
one
like
thing.
dark amber or patchouli kind of. It doesn't work for me, but the citrus and the florals lift me up.
Talk about sparking joy. That's one thing I could do, just like go to a Bath and Body Works and smell candles for like hours and hours. I'm like, just want
She's
to buy them all. I need to get my fix. But yeah, and they say that scent is the sense that's strongest tied to memory. So that can like really heal you and like put you in a nice comforting space that makes you feel at home or that reminds you of something that makes you feel at ease and help you put you in that mindset.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
Vanilla is really great too. Vanilla is great for calming. Like if I
Yeah.
feel like I need vanilla is amazing.
I love the vanilla like warm scents and like the food scents, like coffee smells and that kind of thing. Totally.
And all that I think is is great for our mental health.
Yeah.
Walk
For
into a
sure.
space, just go, oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
baking, when you're baking, or Liv's a big baker. She bakes, like she's an amazing baker. So when I come home and she's baking, it's like, yeah.
You're definitely covering some of these questions that are in the
Oh, am
comments.
I?
Sue asked, "Does Olivia make things too?"
She bakes. She bakes a lot. She doesn't make any of my weird tinky woo woo tinctures, what she calls
Not
them.
yet.
Yeah, she's not full witch yet, but
It's a baby witch.
What's her favorite thing to bake?
She bakes. She does really good croissants. She does macarons. I bought it for her birthday one year. This like thick French pastry book.
Oh wow!
And then she just like riffs now. She's making strawberry tarts and scones, and it's very dangerous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When she goes back to the residence and leaves me like cinnamon rolls that she's made, I'm like, ugh.
It's a slippery slope. Where I live, I'm very close to Amish country, and there's an Amish bakery that I'll go to every now and then, and that's all handmade, like churned butter, like from scratch. It's so good, but it's so like I'll get a pumpkin roll and it's like a brick. It's so dense, and I'm like you have to be careful of how often you go because it's a lot, but it's so good.
But good once in a while.
Yeah.
Sandra has a question from earlier on. Does Amanda favor the dryer or hanging out the washing to dry?
Oh, I love hanging out the washing to dry, but it's really hard where I'm living right now. I take out like one of those folding, so it's got all the different rungs on it. I'll take that out on my back deck and do that. I love the smell of washing that's hung out to dry. But in the wintertime, no, the dryer.
It's probably better for your clothes too.
Yeah, I don't have to smack my pants against a table to get them to soften up.
Yeah, I also dry my clothes like that. I think it's better for your clothes too. I feel like they last longer.
Yeah, for
Don't
sure.
wear out.
For sure. We hang up a lot in our laundry room. We hang up a lot of stuff and not put it in the dryer.
I can't hang a lot up here because most of the time the humidity is so high in the South that like the things just don't get dry fast.
Right.
Yeah.
So we always use the dryer, sadly, but yeah, it's unfortunate. But back to your
go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just had this. I'm trying to get through some of these questions that people had
Yeah.
asked. So, Stephanie asked, she can't do dates. Is there anything else that you would suggest for that recipe?
Huh. I don't know. I mean, figs, but that's probably the same thing as dates for
Probably the same.
Stephanie. So I wonder if you could do it with apples, just like sliced apples.
Hmm.
And then it wouldn't taste the same as a
It's
Snickers,
apples,
but it would
peanut
be so
butter,
delish.
chocolate. Yeah,
Well,
it's still,
ice
Peanut
cream.
butter
Yeah.
and chocolate.
yeah, there's nothing not to like in
Possibly
that
go wrong.
combination. There you go, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Cool.
Trial and
Um,
error, you know,
So
just
someone said peaches. Peaches might be an interesting
Oh
idea.
yeah,
Peaches?
this would be good.
Hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, and I definitely think like Red Delicious versus Granny Smith. I don't know if a Granny Smith would go that sour in there, but it would be
Sure.
interesting.
Might be interesting actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody try it and let us know.
yeah.
Report back.
Perfect. Just some comments to round the hour off here.
Are
Big
we? Has it
B's.
already been an hour?
It's been an
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
hour.
Oh come on, that was so
You
fast.
just have to come back and hang out with us some more. We talk more. We talk
Yeah.
crystals. We talk to well, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna come
But
up with some more recipes. Oh, I made pickles this year too.
I love
I
pickles.
grew in my garden
You got me with the pickles.
and
Oh,
sun-dried tomatoes. Anyway, that's it.
I love it.
the consensus is in. Amanda needs a DIY YouTube channel.
Maybe.
Should.
Start showing everybody how to make your
Maybe.
stuff.
I would
Yeah.
love to see it. Amanda talking pioneer woman.
I love it. We'll produce it for you. We got you.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Lucy just had a really funny comment about the flu stuff. My grandma once gave me some evil ginger lemon garlic potion like this, and I made the same mistake. Had a shot. Now I know what hell feels like.
Oh, Lucy, I'm with you, sister. Man, it was brutal. It tastes like burning.
It tastes like burning.
So bad.
Wasn't that when
feel
they
like-
make wasn't that when they make the tobacco? Like they cross the tomato and the tobacco in The Simpsons, and it's tobacco. I think that's, and he takes a bite of it. Yeah.
But I feel like
tastes
I'm such the
burning.
like pain. Like I feel like I'm that person that's like I just want to know how bad that is. I'm that weirdo that would go make it just to be like I need to know
Just to
that
see how
pain.
bad it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm
This
that
is-
weirdo.
This is good. Like this is so good for you. And I put a lot more citrus in it this year. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted.
Let us know.
The other side of the world, you'll know. Yeah.
One more little comment here from Jess. Not a question, but just a massive thank you to Amanda for being such a positive influence for so many years to me.
Aw.
So
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
seems to be a pretty popular sentiment in the comments. So
Aw, thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Well, you know what? Like I'm a mirror. I'm just a reflection of you guys. Honestly,
I love that.
just a reflection of the people around you.
Mhm. But you're
So-
so authentic. You're so
Mhm.
authentic, and
Yeah.
that
Kind of a
resonates.
goof, really. It's okay.
But
You
it's
can say it,
fantastic.
Christina. I'm a
No,
goof.
but like that's why we all get
I'm
along.
okay with it. Yeah,
It's great.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
totally. You have to be. Yeah, I think maybe that's part of too getting older and just feeling more comfortable in my own skin and going, you know what, this is who I am,
Mhm.
and you're either gonna like it or you're not, and I can't.
100%.
I can't. Yeah, I spent so much time as a young woman worrying about what people thought and trying to bend myself to what people's expectations were of me and what I thought people wanted from me.
Mhm.
And it was not authentic. And now I'm just like, I'm kind of a hippie, crystal loving freak, and I make my own stuff.
I love it.
love every moment of that. It's amazing. It's incredibly inspiring.
Yeah. So we're here at the end of the hour, and it occurs to me that we haven't figured out how to close this hour out. Like we haven't thought about it.
Because Amanda doesn't. Oh, because we can't do.
Oh,
So
yeah.
usually we close it with a certain closing of a certain circle, and someone announces the closing of a circle in Walter's words, but we can't close it.
You're trying to do. What
I'm
can we do instead?
trying.
We can what, hang the washing up to dry? Can we? I don't know. How are we gonna do it?
Yeah, it's always a good send off. Yeah, hang the washer. Hang the washing.
That's dry.
Okay. So Amanda, as our guest,
What do I do?
we just want you to instead of closing the IRIS, we want you to hang the washing out to dry. So, hey, let's hang the washing out
Let's
to dry.
hang the washing up to dry before the iris closes. Oh, and happy day of that show that we're not allowed to talk about.
That one.
Happy
Right.
Wormhole Show Day.
Happy Wormhole Show Day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.